What's going on, you Golden Sky Radio listeners? This is Coach. Before we get into show number 3 today, I wanted to take the time to, give my own personal PSA. I also want to let you know with this personal PSA, this is not at all a complaint. I just want to let you guys know about some valuable details and some valuable information that we have going on here at the Golden Sky Radio station. First and foremost, there is has been some glitches within our system. This radio station is brand new, and when I say brand new, I'm talking brand new. We just barely opened the doors and are trying to figure out all the kinks with the platform that we use and everything in between to bring our shows to you, and as well as the music to you and everything across those lines. So I just wanted to come on real quick and let you guys know that please understand to continue to have your patience with us. We all work very hard here at Golden Sky Radio. The owner of Golden Sky Radio has very sleepless nights because she wants to make sure that this is perfect in the right way. But with wanting that perfection, understand that there will be mistakes. This is something new to all of us. There's about 4 of us or 5 of us that run the station and try to help her as much as humanly possible. And I just need you guys to know, and I want you guys to know, that this is a work in progress. Nothing is handed to us. Nothing is given to us. Everything is being self-taught. This is a learning curve for all of us. If you can't tell, I'm good in public speaking. Also pretty good with some technology, and I got those skills behind me, and I got a good background, and eventually throughout some other shows and some other things that we got going on here, you'll know my background, you'll get to know all that and stuff. But that wraps up basically the PSA. I just wanted to make sure that you guys are fully aware that this is a brand new radio station, and we are understanding and going with the flow of the ups and downs. Some days are great days, some days are not so great, but that's all with owning anything and running something. Again, a lot of us have some great background, some great history on what we're doing, and we do know what we're doing. It's just when technology plays a role into it, unfortunately, when you program something to do something and it doesn't do it, in a timely fashion, or also completely wrong. There are some hiccups in the system, and we will work out those kinks. Just be patient with us, and that, concludes the end of my PSA. And again, this wasn't a rant. This was just to clearly let you guys know as listeners what we do actually do and have going on here at the station. So without further ado, let's get into today's show number 3. Today in show number 3, we're going to talk about building a consistent routine. Now, I don't know if I've crossed the path or mentioned those words in the first 2 shows, but today in show number 3, we're going to talk all about what I feel is building a consistent routine, along with also talking about how I think it's important that you guys, or give you some tips and some tricks on how to build a consistent routine, and why I think this is so valuable and so important. And again, every piece of information that I'm about to give you can go for any walks of life, any age of life. This podcast is going to take a turn, and it's not going to just focus on the youth. That will be a portion, don't get me wrong, but there also is going to be a portion for you adults out there at any age, at any level. And this, again, just broadens the horizon of Inner Champions podcast. And for the real quick, before we, get into it, for those of you that didn't catch show 1 or 2, just let me cut in right here and give you kind of like a brief introduction. So Inner Champions podcast is all about a high energy, mind building, mind wealth, and how to make yourself better. So I'm going to give you tips and tricks on how to do that in different formats, different ways, different lingo, different languages. But again, let's get back to today and focus on that consistent routine and why I think it is important. First and foremost, I think a routine, not necessarily a schedule. I mean, you could probably say it would be a schedule, but again, at the same time, I think a schedule is a little bit more strict. I think with a routine, it could be a little bit more flexible and you can have, different variances of your routine. It's just like, for example, I hope you guys, or at least you youth out there, have a routine on getting up in the morning, maybe potentially making your bed. That could be routine number one. Routine number two could simply, brush your teeth every day. I hope that is a routine for every one of you out there. But then again, there's some of us that just don't have that routine. So again, I guess that could be a good starting point for those that don't have a routine and want to learn about getting into these routines, and again, why it is so important to get in these routines. Again, I guess the most common one, I would assume that it'd be the most common one, is making your bed. Now, again, I can understand with me saying making your bed would be the most common one. It could potentially be a struggle for some of us. But again, I think that is a good baseline starting point. If you guys want to get into this, build your routine, build a rhythm, build a habit. Also, I think with routines, what we'll get into a little bit right now, just because we have ample amounts of time, is building the right habits, building the habits to be consistent with this routine and being, on top of it. And when you do that, not only is it good for you as a person, is it good for your mental health, but where I want to dive deep is I think it's also important for your good, your brain, your wavelengths, because everything and a lot of things in your body obviously connect. I understand that, but I think a big part of where people struggle is not the fact of the commitment, but the way your brain works, and things like that. I think it's just more important of how to rewave your brain to be disciplined, how to rewave your brain to be more committed, and again, more or less carry these routines. And I think the reason why they're so important is again, I think it makes you more disciplined. I think it makes you more responsible. And I just want to stop myself here and let you guys know that it's not for, sports in general. It's not for, it's on every wave of life. How, you sit at a table. And again, a lot of it too wraps around discipline. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of what I'm going to talk about, not just on this show, but on multiple shows in general, a lot of my knowledge and a lot of my verbiage is going to interconnect. If you stay listening to this show long enough, you're going to be like, that connected with that, that connected with that. We're going to play a game of, I guess, connect the dots. And then once we connect all these dots, what this commitment level and consistency level, that's another one there, if you haven't caught on, will do for you is make it so when you get in these consistent things and patterns and routines, your brain won't have to work so hard. It's not going to have to lay there before you get out of bed and go, okay, what am I doing today? What am I trying to conquer today? It will get into a pattern. It will get into a routine. It will get into a consistent routine and automatically want to do it and just do it out of the right habit. And again, I know talking about this is easier said than done. A lot of us can do it and or say we're going to do it, but then not physically do it. And again, I probably can understand why this will be hard for probably more than 75% of you out there who potentially could be listening. But at the end of the day, as the saying goes, I can lead the horse to water. I can't force you to drink. So with all my shows, I can put your mind, put you as the person on the right track, but I can't force you to do it. That's where the commitment, that's where the consistency, that's where the drive, that's where the passion, that's where the heart goes and needs to go, is for you guys to want to change how you live your life or represent yourself in your life, or again, how would you represent yourself at a job? You are your own person. I can't be your pacifier. That's just another great line I use. And so at the end of the day, you ultimately have to make these decisions. And again, for some of us, maybe for more than 75% of us, that's hard to do. And I want to come on here and let you know I am no doctor, I am no therapist, I am no anything, but I'm going to, I guess, put my arm out there on a limb. And if you guys need further guidance in these shows, please feel free to email the show, ask the show for my contact information, or if you know me well enough and you find my contact information and you follow us on our social media platforms, then please reach out. Let's talk in depth. I am not here just to put on a podcast and not help those out there and those around. When I was doing my private podcast, which will still be happening, by the way, not for any kind of plug or anything, I offer my knowledge and my sources. And not only did I not go to school to be like a mental therapist or a psychologist or anything along those lines, but for the field that I fall in of being a current and former high school football coach, it's amazing to me on, especially in 2026, on realistically how much of the game you don't teach. I've found it more important to teach the game of life and the game of getting these youth to understand that yes, the sport is very important, but at the same time, it's very important on getting these kids to, or these youth, not just kids, to operate in today's society. With that could be getting a job, that could be going to the next level of a college, that could be going to the next level for my former players on a simple relationship. It could be anything. I get a lot of calls now. I'm getting to the point where a lot of my former players have gotten relationships and need help and need some just side advice. So I'm also here to help you off of Golden Sky Radio if need be. Obviously, with that being said, please do it in a controlled manner. I hope you do. And again, for anyone out there listening who might need just a voice of reason, a voice of, hey, let's get you up today off the couch and let's find something to do. I'm here for that as well. As much as this is my baby as far as the podcast goes, and I want myself to do good, I'm here for other people. I'm not here for myself. I'm here to make you consistent. I'm here to make you worth it. I'm here to make you want to feel success, and I can do that and lead you the right way. But what are you willing to sacrifice for that level of commitment? What are you willing to sacrifice for that level of consistency? What are you willing to sacrifice for that level of discipline? And those are just a few things. And again, we could branch off and I could sit here and talk for days. But I just really wanted to format this around just being consistent and getting in the right mindset, the right habit. It takes a lot to do life. For every walk of life. I don't know what you all personally do. Maybe that could be a Q&A. You all can get on our website at goldenskyradio.net and send in a Q&A and ask me some personal questions. I can ask you some personal questions back and forth. I can answer some of your questions on maybe what you need help on, maybe what you don't need help on. I don't know. I think this radio station and this platform is here to help people, and I want to make sure to voice that to you, for you, that not only am I here to give you the tips and tricks, but I'm also here to help. So really, that's where I think consistency is the most important, and why it is so important. But again, at the end of the day, you have to break the ice barrier or the block wall barrier on, can I do this? Yes, you can do this. With all of this, and we'll make a show of this alone because I can get really passionate about it. It is a proper mindset. It is a proper attitude on how you want to approach it. And as I mentioned earlier, and again, ladies and gentlemen, I know at some points this can sound repetitive, but I just want to make sure that point is gone across to you. As much as you want to listen to this and be like, I got this, how much are you willing to put into this? How much are you willing to give to yourself? And how much are you willing to give back to yourself? This isn't something, or I believe that this is not something that you can blink your eye at and just assume or want to assume that it's going to change overnight. as if you were to work out. Those goals. You could set the goals, you could set the boundaries, you could set the discipline for not eating ice cream at 2 a.m. or something simple like that. But can you stay consistent? Can you stay committed? Can you be in that proper routine, that proper habit of not going to that freezer because you're hungry and you want a snack or whatever the case may be? And I don't want to base it on food. That could be in anything. That could be in your household. That could be in your relationship. Are you willing to set those boundaries? Are you willing to set those guidelines? Are you willing to be disciplined in your own relationship, in your own guidelines? Whatever the case may be. And again, I love my podcast because I can sit here and be as, versatile as possible. I can be, as open as possible. It's what you want to perceive. It's what you want to take away from this. And I try my best to give all different aspects, not a sports aspect, not a family aspect, but all different varieties, relationships, so on and so forth. And the list goes on. I haven't even cracked the surface yet. This is only show number 3. I am extremely excited to be here on this platform because at the end of the day, it's all about if I can help one person. I've helped multiple people in my life. I already do know that for a fact. But if I can just help one more. So I really hope this show will hit home for you over time. And I just wanted to take the time to say that. And again, it's all about that level of commitment. What are you willing to put into it? What are you willing to change? More importantly, there's a lot of us out there, as it's still quasi early on in the year. We all set those goals and those wishful thinking goals for a lot of us out there. Yeah, we do. But maybe go back because it's not too far in the year yet. And go see if you can make one of those goals a reasonable goal and be committed to it. And whatever the goal is, like I said earlier, be committed in a better relationship. Be committed and more disciplined in getting up for work. Be more, disciplined and conditioned and ready to get up and brush your teeth every day. Make the bed every day. It could be a simple little task. Cut back on the ice cream. It could be anything. If you make one settled change, you'll see a drastic change over time. Let me say that again. If you make one settled change, you will see drastic changes over time. But again, with that being said, it's the mind, and then it's the body, and then it's just the ultimate consistency and commitment. And, where are you willing to take yourself? How far are you willing to take yourself? Let's go into the weight room for a minute. You're willing to push yourself in the weight room and get that max of 500 and something pounds, but you have to work yourself up to it. I can't just walk into a weight room today and be like, I'm gonna lift 265 right out the gate just because it's a pattern. They go to the weight room and they bench let's just say, for example, the bar for the first 2 weeks, and then they go and then they put on 75 pounds on both sides. They bench that for 3 days or 10 reps or whatever. But you build up to it. This is also a building process. It's just like here at the radio station. This is brand new to us. We're building it up. We've cracked the surface. We've got the baseline, and we got a great vision. We got a great mindset. We got a great attitude. But with those, and even with the consistency, even let's, like I said, go back to working out. They're gonna break. Your people aren't perfect. This system is not perfect. We will make it to be perfect. We will make it to be great. But we're willing to sacrifice our days, our time, our energy, everything to do so. And I know this is turning into kind of like, oh, well, you talked about, but this all goes with being consistent, being committed, having that same pattern of routine. I think that's where we need to go back and focus on right now, is just the pattern of routine on how to create those routines. Like I said, start in the weight room. If you're not someone who works out, start at home with your routine of cutting back on bread, cutting back on whatever you want to cut back on. It doesn't even have to be food. Cut back on watching TV. Don't watch so much TV. Put your brain to better use besides social media and TV. And I will come here and I will let you know that I promise you, if you make those subtle adjustments and everything that we've discussed today so far to this point, if you make those adjustments, you will see small improvements. And then over time, after you see the small improvements, you will see very notable, large improvements in whatever you're trying to conquer and whatever you're trying to be more consistent with. You will see them. You will. Again, this goes back to a simple thing called working out. For those of you that are committed to a weight room, committed to something like that, and you want to see those changed results, your brain works the same way. It really does. A lot of people have misconceptions that your brain doesn't work that way, but I am a proven factor of that. I have been in some different scenarios before in my life, and I never used to think that my brain was that powerful. I never used to think that I had that kind of strength with my brain. But after I have done some great things in my life and reached some peak times in my life, I'm going to tell you, your brain is one of your strongest strengths if you choose to make it that way. But again, with me saying that, it has taken the mindset of being a champion. It has taken the mindset of wanting to be a champion. It has taken the mindset of anything I do, I'm going to win at. For all my teams that I've coached, that's what I say. All my teams are going to win. I make that a sacrifice. I make that a goal. I make that a very accomplishable goal. Not just for me, but for them. I get them to believe. I get them to trust in the process, trust in the routine, trust in the habits that I have, trust in the standards that I have, and we will win. And this goes for you. If you want to change your ways, if you want to change your wavelengths or the way your brain operates, you can win at this. You can win at this podcast. If you take simple notes, if you have a notebook, for those, for females out there, if you have a diary, if you take notes and you put this in your diary and you want to win, I have yet to talk about it, but I'll mention it to you. I'm going to be talking about a vision board. I'm not going to discuss anymore what that's going to be, but I'm going to break down what a vision board is for you so you can see it daily. And we'll get into that over time and multiple shows. I could probably go on that for 4 hours, but I would never want to keep you guys here for 4 hours. Although there might be some of you out there that might like a 4-hour podcast. Never know. Might want to try it one day. Who knows? But again, as a lot of you should know by this point, we've had shows on air for approximately, for sure, 2 weeks. But just stick around. Whoever's going to grow with us is going to grow with us, and whoever's going to move on is going to move on. I don't want to scare you guys away too fast, too soon. I want to positively let you know that there will be shows that will get better. There will be shows that some of us just may not like, and that's okay. That's the joys of being in this world. There might be 65% of you that don't like me, but at the end of the day, I hope that some of you, if not a lot of you, can come across one of these shows and just take home one note, one thing I say. Again, and like I said, I think the very first week I did a show on Golden Sky Radio, is that you don't necessarily have to take exactly what I say. Take something away from what I say and change it to however makes you feel good, feel better. And again, everything that I've experienced is life experiences. Everything that I'm going to discuss or give you tips and tricks on, I have either done or been through in my personal life. I am typically not one of those people that gives you advice on something that I have personally yet to, I guess, go through or experience. But at the same time, I've done that too in the past and in the present. I have had people come up to me and ask me just for a genuine, advice in something. So I have done that too. But ultimately, for Inner Champions podcast purposes, unless you probably personally reach out to me, it's going to be what I have, I guess, either been through, overcome, and everything else in between. Because with a podcast like this, It's about livelihood, and there's a lot of things that happen in life. There's a lot of things that happen just to happen. And so I'm hoping to be able to again come on here on Golden Sky and share my life experiences and allow you to prosper and grow from my life experiences. Again, I know this probably for a proven fact. 95% of you aren't faced with what I have to go through every day. And yes, that will be another set of shows. Eventually, I will ultimately open up to you guys and let you know who is Coach, what's behind Coach, what does Coach really bring to the table. I will ultimately tell you that. I will ultimately get to that point, but I want to build an audience, or I hope to build an audience to be able to share those times with you and with you. I don't want to say for you, but with you, and then ultimately when that time comes, I'll have the time to build a little audience, and maybe I'll get some feedback, because when I really open up and talk about myself, I ultimately like to know the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly. And again, I'll promise to tell you that anything that you were ever to tell me, I will take no offense to it. I will brush it off with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, even here on Golden Sky Radio, it's a form of social media. So anything you were to potentially be negative about towards me, I'm not going to be offended by it. I've seen, I've heard, I've witnessed a lot of nasty, negative things in my life. Again, this isn't a trauma dumping session, but I'm just letting you know that I really hope when the feedback comes and when the community comes, that I can get your true, honest opinion about things, because the truth of the matter is the truth will only make me stronger. The truth of the matter is the truth will only make me a better person. So, and when being a better person for you, it'll be a better person for Golden Sky Radio. I'm here to learn. I'm here to be taught. I'm here to give advice. I'm a very well-rounded, open human being. And you guys that will be consistent, continuous listeners will find that out very quickly. But that about wraps up my time here on my show number 3 here on Golden Sky Radio. Make sure, guys, if you have yet to do so, please do the following. First and foremost, check out our website, goldenskyradio.net. Secondly and thirdly, that kind of sounds funny, but hey, check out our social media platforms. I also know that we are on Facebook, so I guess 3 social media platforms that I know of. There may be a 4th somewhere in the weeds or in the bushes, but the 3 that I know of for sure are TikTok at Golden Sky Radio, Instagram at Golden Sky Radio, and Facebook Golden Sky Radio as well. Please join us on our social media platforms. I would suggest, if you want to know about more current shows and the show based of the Golden Sky Radio, make sure you follow us on those social media platforms to get the soonest, fastest updates. I have yet to work it out with Jordan, but we are in a work in progress where I will assist and oversee some of those things. So things will be more prompt. Things will be out there for you to be alerted by what's going on in our community, in our team. And we are in a work in progress. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to Golden Sky Radio. We really value your listenership. And again, we also value your opinion, because I know personally from my heart of hearts that the owner and operator of Golden Sky Radio, not only the owner or operator though, the 4 people that are, I guess, under her and work for her, want to bring you the best here at Golden Sky Radio. But without your feedback and your true thoughts and your true suggestions and your true valued opinion, that's how we will get better here for you at Golden Sky Radio. Again, apologize for the rant, apologize for all the little promos and pushes, but that's how we get our voice out there. That's how we get our voice heard, and eventually, hopefully, you can push this to a friend of yours or a family member of yours and just tell them to tune in to Golden Sky Radio. This is Coach for the Inner Champions podcast here on Golden Sky Radio. We will see you for show number 4 very soon. Thanks for listening.